It's Nathan again with Citizen Nerd here, and today we're actually going to go over a slight problem we all have, which is short cord syndrome. Short cord syndrome is when you buy your brand new power strip to hook up stuff, which if you can pull it out of its box would be great. And you gotta get rid of this stupid wire ties. I hate wire ties sometimes. Use a lot of them, still hate. You get these things, you're like, yes, I can hook something up. I can actually maybe get this sometime. I can hook something up, and then you wind up with the short cord. This thing isn't even as long as my desk or workbench. Okay, so there's a way to fix this. Now, I'm doing this with a US piece of equipment because I'm in Indiana and this is what we have. So, do we need this? No. So, the great thing is, I went to the store and I got this thing for $6. You'll want this one specifically because it has screws holding it together. Because if you don't, you're going to be undoing a lot of snaps, and that is just about as much fun as having your eyeballs poked out. So, also bought this for about another, I think it was $7. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this merge with this. We're going to actually do it to where at least it looks somewhat safe. So you'll need a few tools for this. So work on my nice new workbench here I've had for a little bit now, which I'll show you. Try and get a video completed for that. That's how I made this thing. It's out of an old subwoofer. It's kind of fun. Anyway, you'll need a pair of side cuts. You will need a flathead screwdriver, probably. You'll definitely need a Phillips screwdriver. I'm using a number 1 because I believe it fits these screws a bit better, but number 2 will probably work, and they're usually labeled on here 1 and 2. This is number 1. You will need a pair of wire strippers. You will need these. But I hate cutting through these cords. These are fun, but it's better. It's a lot quicker too. Don't ever do this plugged in, by the way. That's really bad. Now, another thing you want to do. You notice I left a little bit of cord on here. I did this intentionally because later on we're going to use this. I'm going to show you something you can do with this. You can put an end on this, and then when you have these things, and you know, you always have like 15 little power blocks plugged into these things, and there's never enough room. You put an end on that, you move it off the edge. Do it a lot. Because that's the way you have to plug things in. Because they always make these stupid power blocks to where you can never plug more than one in. Which is insane. Anyway, on to this. So we're going to cut back a little bit of this. And expose some of the wire here. And we'll wind up trimming this off a little bit. Now, when you're stripping this off, do not cut the inside wire. Because if you cut the inside of the jacket, the inside jacket wire, you have to recut it. Because if you don't, it's going to arc. And arc bad. Or at least it could anyway. It certainly frays a lot quicker. But, go back to this thing a second. We'll take this thing apart now. There are 6 screws in the bottom of this. And they're nothing truly impressive. They're just basic screws. Yes, you could do this with a drill, but it's 6 screws. Use a screwdriver. And yes, I have a drill. It's sitting back there. Anyway, welcome to my workshop. So, which is of course also my ham shack and everything else. But you will need your side cuts here to cut off the extra little pieces of wire. And I don't throw these away either because they also can make very short things if you needed some. But I cut off the extra pieces here. And of course, realizing which piece is which is a good idea. But we'll show you how to actually test that when it's all said and done here. Let me get this out. This is the grounding piece. Now, this is the US color code. The US color code, I do not know if it's anywhere else in the world, but it is definitely here. Green is your ground, or earth ground. Black is your hot. White is your neutral. So we'll take this and we'll use this later. Because you never know when you need something else. So this is the piece you need, which actually contains really, these are really cheap. Because like here's the grounding strip. It is, I would not exactly call it the most expensive piece of equipment ever. But it is functional. So when you got your switch / breaker, because it is actually a breaker and it disconnects if you have problems. The funny thing is it also has your surge suppressor and everything kind of built in one little piece. And now you'll notice this thing was literally just crimped tight onto this inner piece here. So you're going to want to make sure that you get that to where when it clamps in, that this is the furthest it'll go out. Because if you don't, it's going to start going out here. And when it gets out to here, moving around will fray it and cause you real kinds of problems and all kinds of grief. Plus, it's probably really, really dangerous. So anyway, so we're going to go and we're going to measure this thing off based on this outer piece being there. And it's a lot of times you can also go in there and mark it. In this case, also realize that this piece goes the way here. Last one I had was more in the middle, so we're going to extend this out a little bit. So we're just going to do the same kind of thing. We'll just break it and then pull more out. Now, always inspect to make sure you didn't cut into it, because we're trying to make a useful piece of equipment, not a fire. If you really want a fire, we do those later. By the way, here's a hint: never plug a space heater into these. I got a nice video of this through Facebook. Someone plugged a space heater into one of these. These are rated for like a lamp or laptop or something to that effect. They're not rated for a space heater. People really worry me sometimes with how much danger they really put themselves in by doing that. Okay, so in this you've got, I don't know if that's easily viewable or not, but you got a little piece that crimped on the wire. And we're going to have to actually spread that apart and get that wire out of there. Now what they've kind of done is they've somewhat welded that in place in this particular unit. So we're going to actually have to pull it off, and we're probably going to have to solder it on. But there's another way we could do this too. We could actually make a crimp piece and crimp it on if we needed to, but in this case I'm just going to pull it. We're going to have to solder. That's okay. Solder iron is also something every nerd needs to have. If you do not have one, go buy one. I would highly recommend, if you've never bought one, do not go out and spend the most money on it, because you're going to burn it up. Yeah, so you can go get a relatively cheap one. There's all kinds of places you can do it. MCM, Parts Express, whatever. If you still have a Radio Shack, you could probably go there. Ours decided to close up. I don't know. I guess I wasn't buying enough parts. Anyway. Okay, so we're going to lay this thing out. I'm going to use my side cuts here. And you're going to cut past where you need to strip it back, so you have extra lead, or forward of it, however you want to put it. Same with the white wire. Those two pieces. So you wind up something like this. Now, ignoring the green, because of course it's going a different location, where they're going to strip back with our wire strippers. This is actually set from Radio Shack. We're going to strip it back about, what is that, centimeter, quarter inch, half inch, somewhere in that range. It's not specifically picky as to how far back you cut it, as long as it's enough and not over. Okay, so I went ahead now, we've jumped ahead and I set up soldering iron. Another piece of equipment you actually need for final testing, but not to actually build it with, just to test it to make sure you didn't get something backwards, is a volt-ohm-meter, or VOM, or digital multimeter. It's got 20 different names. Anyway, that one I call Radio Shack. Anyway, because Radio Shack, here's a shocker. Anyway, we're going to solder this, and in this case I'm actually using, I think this is just 60/40 solder. Now, in some places you're not allowed to use lead tin solder anymore. I still had this, so I'm just going to use it. But you know, silver solder would work a little bit better. Blah blah blah. That's what the EPA tells everyone. So we're just going with it. Probably die of like a, brain explosion some years from now. And I didn't know it was going to do that to me. It's lead. Lead bad. What goes like ozone depletion or something else? I don't know. So we're going to tin the ends here. This is a term, soldering term called tinning. We'll do that. So get these soldered up. Okay, and I want to make sure I got these other places where they're going here nice and flat. Let's get rid of as much of the extra junk as we can on there. By the way, this is the last soldering iron I bought, and I bought it at Radio Shack, so I must be an odd one. I went to Radio Shack and actually spent money. No, I don't really know why. So, I'll start with the black one here, and we'll connect the two tinned ends. You want to make sure everything gets thoroughly heated up. If it does not, you're going to wind up with a cold solder joint, which will then break loose, and then this thing will be going either intermittent, or it can actually start a fire. Fire bad. Just fire bad. What'd you do this weekend? I burnt my house down because it was fun. Oh. By the way, I'm also testing out a new camera. Normally I record this stuff thus far anyway, actually on my iPhone, because it has actually a pretty good camera. But I'm actually also trying out my little knockoff GoPro, which is a 4K Sports or something like that. Anyway, I will have a better description for that, and I'll actually probably do an entire review video on it. It's not bad. It's really wide angle though, which I know that like some people are like, that's why you get it, because it's really wide angle and cool and everything else. I'm like, but I don't want to use it to mount to a helmet because I don't have a helmet, because I don't ride bikes. I don't know why. Probably because I just don't. Now the funny thing is, right now I actually have a bike in my garage. It's not mine. State that for the record. It's not my bike. It's a brother-in-law's bike who needed a place to store his Harley. So it lives in my basement. Anyway. Because that's where it always needs to be. Kidding. Kenny, I'm kidding. You can stay here. Okay, so I need to trim back the green wire or ground wire. It's a little different than my usual video. So far I've done mainly I did a Minecraft video. Really kind of did that because it was funny. I actually have another one ready to go too. Since I'm trying to build my own computer in Minecraft, I built the memory. Now I built the adder. I'll show you that later. You really should be wearing eye protection. Which I really should be wearing eye protection, because if something really goes wrong, it'll flick stuff in your eyes, and that really hurts. I noticed on this one, like a bunch of these have like little clips that kind of hold everything together. This one, it just kind of sits there by osmosis. Anyway, that's your connections. So we're going to go ahead and put this thing back together. So the testing is actually quite easy on this. This is the new power strip. Shut the solder iron off for now. Hopefully we'll get it. So, of course you have to test it on. Now, you've really got, I don't really know why they put all these tags on things. So much in the way. Don't overload it! Duh. Of course, people run a turkey fryer in their house. There was a good reason for that. Okay, so you're going to set this on a low setting, and you're going to see, in my case, I'm setting on 200. Actually, I'm going to put on beep so you can actually hear it maybe. So you'll see it says OL, or open load. So if we connect it up, you should always test the thing first. Hear it beep. Okay. Now, you should have continuity or connection between, if you want to think of it like this, you should have this wire here. Get it in there. Okay. As it sits there, it should plug into that one. Get it beep. Okay, but it should be nothing with the other ones. And then we'll do the other side. Small wire. Beep. Nothing. Nothing. And we check every single connection because you don't want to wind up with something not working. So in this case, I'm going to hold this on here because this one doesn't really sit in there very well. Hear it? Okay. I'll put it on this one. I got nothing. On that one. We got nothing. Okay. So I'm going to turn it off to start with. Plug it in to my little bench outlet here. And turn it on. You get a light. That's a good sign. No smoke. Even better. Now we're going to take our same continuity tester here, or digital voltmeter. We're going to turn it back on. We're going to set it to AC, and this is the United States, keep in mind. we're going to set it to 200. Now, if you're in Europe doing something like this, I believe yours is running at 240 volts, so you would need that at a higher setting, of course, or you just burn your meter up. So we're going to go from ground to hot, and I have, if I can get connected, 123.4, and then we're going to go from hot to neutral, should be basically the same thing, 123.4. So this is what we get in my house. So now that is actually working. Make sure you do not try and test the voltage with current, or with the with the current setting, or with the resistance setting, because your meter will not like you. In fact, if you do it with either one of those, you're likely to burn the meter up if it doesn't actually explode. Although I don't think it would explode. You just blow a fuse in a thing and fry the electronics, and you're buying a new meter. So I guess if you need a new meter, yeah, so be it. Anyway, that is how to turn a cheap power strip and a cheap extension cord, which is the same diameter wire, into a power strip that you now have to be able to run longer things with. By the way, I've made about 30 of these. The nice thing is, this thing, when it comes down, it crimps right onto that thing good and solid, and you can feel it, it's solid. If it's loose, you'll need to make sure that you take care of that gap. If it's really, really too loose in there, you may have to put like zip ties or something along that to keep it from coming out, because you don't want it to come out, because coming out would be bad, because it would fray the wires rather easily, and then it's a fire hazard. Fire bad. Remember that? Say it with me. Fire bad. Anyway, this has been Nathan with Citizen Nerd. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope to bring you some more here soon. I got another Minecraft video I'm going to work on that I actually just need to produce right now. I've got the extra thing working, but it's a 8-bit adder to 4 bits to give you, to add 2 4 bits together. So I guess it's actually 4-bit adder. With carry bit, of course, and I'll explain on how all those pieces work and how to make logic circuits in that. I got another one coming up on why specifically you should not use a hub in your network. And instead of saying, just don't do it, I'm actually going to show you why you don't want that. And I think we're going to come up with a few other ones here. We'll maybe actually go around some of my toys I've got in my little toy room here. I finally got this thing put together a little bit now, so. And we'll actually look at maybe some ham radio stuff and some other things like that. Anyway, so I will talk to you all later. Have a great day.